What is going on, you guys? This is Blaze over here, Blue Chip Athletic Club podcast, and today we're going another solo episode. I'll be talking through 75 hard, 50 days of fitness, and a couple different things that I wanted to make sure that I kind of hit on. Today is September the 26th, 2025. Wanted to make sure that I shouted out partners over at First Form. Thank you guys for everything that you do. All of our supplements, you guys can check the link here in the video, or we got links all over the website and stuff for anything that you guys need. Greens, collagen powders, creatines, you name it. We've got the ability to get it over to you guys. So appreciate them as always. And then our partners over at Log 10, thank you guys for supporting the pilot community the same way that we do. And I'm excited to continue to work with you guys to deliver the best and most immersive experience for pilots in and out of the cockpit. But without further ado, we're going to kick into this thing and talking a little bit about finally finishing the 75 hard challenge, which has been ever elusive for me, actually, for almost the last year. So a little bit of background, probably about September, October timeframe of the year 2024, I decided, based on reading a book, I forget what the exact name of the title, so it's gonna probably bug me, but essentially they were talking about how taking 3 months away from drinking alcohol was like a big game changer for them. They were like, hey, I hadn't done it since I was, in my teens. I hadn't like taken some time away. Does that mean I have a problem? Is that something that somebody else could, potentially see as like, oh, you're somebody who like can't stop, are you I don't know, I don't want to call it addicted to the thing, but do you have the ability to step away? Do you have the ability to say no in a social setting? And I start kind of thinking to myself a lot of those same questions, and I was like, man, I probably haven't taken any time away from drinking booze from the time that I was 14 or 15, sneaking out trying to have parties with friends in high school to when to then essentially like last year, 2024, at the end of the year. So what I decided to do is I was going to do the 90-day like alcohol fast. And the reason was to kind of prove that I could do it, to be able to say no in a social setting, to really kind of lean into the fact that I haven't done it before and it was going to be kind of challenging and hard. And everybody who knows me knows that I'm kind of a social drinker when the time comes. It's a way that I think kind of like helps loosen people up. It's a way to spend quality time together, which is my number one love language, something that I found out in my later years. But all those things taken into account, I was like, hey, I'm going to start with this. And that was the first challenge that I wanted to do end of summer, early fall last year. Well, I get through, I don't know, a month and a half or 2 months of that. And then I start hearing about 75 hard. And it's something that I had heard about previously, but was never something that I had thought about doing. I start working with First Form earlier that year. I start, hearing more about Andy Frisella. I start hearing more about their kind of message, and I'm like, man, like doing 75 hard would be pretty cool. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm already doing the no alcohol thing. It's going pretty well. I'm, a month and a half, 2 months in, like I had said before. So what now? What do we kind of do? And the thought was I can now add in and do 75 hard. So what I did, and I should have the piece of paper somewhere, but I made, like, for those of you guys watching, I'm making like a little box with my hands, but most people will probably listen to this because that's what I do when I listen to podcasts. So for the listeners out there, I basically drew out a grid and marked out like 7 by, I guess it would be 10, 11. So it was basically all 75 days on one like sheet of paper. And every time like I did all of the things in that day, I would like exit out. So, 75 hard, for those of you that don't know, and I want to make sure that I don't miss any of the parts of the of what 75 hard is. So let me just pull up really fast. the 75 hard challenge so that I can give you a verbatim kind of what it is. So officially, it is a mental toughness challenge. This was created again by Andy Frisella. It's 6 tasks, and the 6 tasks are critical. You can't miss anything. There's no cheating, no half days, no anything like that. You got to do it every single day. So each day you have to follow a diet with no cheat meals or alcohol. You have to drink 1 gallon of water. You have to do 2 45-minute workouts per day, one of which has to be outdoors. You have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book, and you have to take a daily progress photo. So those are the things. Diet, no cheat meals or alcohol, 1 gallon of water, 2 45 minutes workouts. One has to be outside, 10 pages of reading, and then progress photos. So those are kind of all like facets of the challenge. So I start doing this thing, and I start, going through my day. And I basically started to identify ways that I could kind of do this really well. I get to day probably like 30 or 35 this time last year. And needless to say, I forgot a progress photo. And of course, you never forget that day. You're like, oh yeah, I'm killing it. You do the 2 workouts. I feel like are pretty easy to remember. Pretty easy to remember to work out twice. Pretty easy to remember that you're on a diet. Pretty easy to remember to even drink the gallon of water. At least for me, reading the pages of the book were kind of easy, but god damn, the progress photo. So I failed my first try at the program on account of a progress photo. And then if you fail, you have to go all the way back to the beginning and start over. So you say you're on day 35. Well, if you want to keep going, you have to go back to day 1 and then start over a new 75-day quest. So I started over again, and I got to probably, I think the second time I got to day like 14 or 15, forgot another progress photo. Back to the beginning. The third time I get to day, I want to say like 40-ish. And by this time it's probably October, maybe late October. And then I'm coming back from a flight, and I'm like ravenous. For those of you guys that know, like if you like get back from work in some way, shape, or form, like you like get back and you're like, oh dude, I need to eat, like I'm dying. And I had this Nuts and More peanut butter. For those of you not familiar, there's a company that creates peanut butter powder or peanut butter that has like chocolate in it, and they've got like a white chocolate maple pretzel and like a chocolate maple pretzel peanut butter that are like super, super good. Well, anyway, I had that, and my diet at the time was like no sweets. So I get back, and all I can think of is like, oh, I'm just going to slam this rice cake and peanut butter. Well, I had peanut butter that had chocolate in it. And then I was like, damn, that is a violation of my diet directly. So I went from 45 days back to day 1. So at this point, I probably have been not drinking for like 3-ish months. I had been on and off 75 hard, and I'm like, I'm doing this again. So I start back over, and I start going again. And then I finally get to where I'm traveling. And this whole time I'm, traveling a bunch, telling friends no for various reasons to be able to go and drink and have beers. And I'm, finding ways to train on the road. Whether that's, taking a walk, running outside, hotel gym workouts, all those things to kind of make that happen. And even there's a bunch of times where I was flying cross country from West Coast to East Coast, where not only is the flight time absurd, but you're also losing 3 hours to time change. So you're losing 3 hours of time change. Your travel day is probably somewhere in the realm of 5 to 8 hours. And that's if you get a direct flight, it's closer to 5 or 6. And then most likely you're got a layover, so it's closer to 8 or 9. And you got to find a way to work out twice in that and finish all of those other things. So I am making that work. And then in this time I'm out traveling, and I decided hey, that my diet is going to be no chocolate. I wanted to make it a little bit more specific. Well, I get up to New Jersey and visiting my Chelsea's family, my wife's family, and here we are in their house and there's donuts on the table. And I'm like, oh dude, like 75 hard donut doesn't violate, like it's not chocolate. So I eat the donut. Well, later in that day or the next day, I'm listening to Andy Frisella talk again about how he's like, oh, there's no cheat meals. Anything that feels dirty or isn't hard or isn't blah, blah, blah is not right. And I just like look up to myself and I'm like, you idiot. Like eating this donut was not smart. Because then you're going right back again to day one. So at this point, I had failed 75 hard, I think 4 times. And I'm getting towards the end of the year. I'm incredibly frustrated. And this actually, I think, was after New Year's. So I had went through the entire holiday season without drinking, sticking to a diet, training twice a day, doing the progress photo, doing all those things, except for the days where I obviously failed. And I got really, really frustrated to the point of like early on in the year, it's probably like mid-January when I failed that last time. I'm like, all right, dude, I'm like done. I need to take some time away. I can't do this. Not right now, at least. I was kind of demoralized after basically being no drinking for 6 months, all those other things. And then, you know, we are getting ready to move cross country and we've got a ton of stuff going on too. So, you know, I'm like, I need some time away. I need to kind of reset and then I'm going to retackle this thing. So needless to say, we go through our entire move process. For those of you that were following that knew that it was kind of a dumpster fire and we finally make it out to Florida. And probably within a couple days of me being in Florida, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do 75 hard again. But the difference this time is I wanted to try my 5th iteration of 75 hard and I deemed it 75 harder. And the reason was because I was going to also stay off of social media, which, for those of you listening, you're probably like, dude, you run an online personal training business, coaching people with nutrition online, coaching people on how to train online, behavior modification, you know, all these different things all online. So why are you now going to not be online and not be an online presence? And the reason is kind of simple. I think that I had become kind of inundated with what other people were doing. I think social media for me was becoming less and less of a tool for the business and more of a comparator of like, hey, what these people are doing, they're kind of affecting my style, infringing upon kind of the things that I thought would be successful or speak to my specific demographic. Kind of all those things started to take place. So felt as though I needed to take some time away, you know, personally. I think it would have been great for me, you know, and at the beginning I'm like, hey, this is a great idea. So I can kind of reset. I'm in a new place. I'll get kind of my feet wet. And I'll kind of be able to lean into other things that I can do, not on social media. So, okay, how do you do those things? Well, leaning into the local community, talking to people, you know, handing out business cards to people that you meet on a plane or at a class or when you're traveling on the road. Like how can you continue to grow and improve without social media? And I'll tell you that you absolutely can. We have not lost much, if any, I'll say, opportunity because of that. And I've actually been able to lean into a little bit more of stuff that I am more comfortable doing. I enjoy doing more and just really have found, I will call, like my lane doing. So what does that look like over the last 75 days? Well, we finally completed 75 hard as of the 24th of September, so 2 days ago. And I finished my last workout and I, you know, finally was able to say that I accomplished this challenge, and people that know me know that I was incredibly strict doing it. I did not, you know, obviously by my rehashing of the multiple times I failed, I did not compromise on this challenge. Definitely. What that means though is that, you end up learning a lot. And I think that I learned a lot from it. From the point of like, hey, be resistant, be persistent, all those things that I think kind of come with the challenge alone. But I think the things that I learned from stepping away from social media, I think may have even been better. And I just want to talk a little bit more about that. I feel like the social media bug can be overwhelming. And I guess I kind of noticed over the last 75 days how much of it was, taking up real estate in my mind, whether I knew it or not. And, I'll tell you that most people that know me know I'm the type that's will post and ghost, pop on the, platform, post the stuff that I needed to do for that day or that week, respond to direct messages, people asking us questions about health or nutrition or wanting to know more about our coaching programs, and then try and pop off. Well, that slowly shifts more and more to, the whole point of it is to keep you on as long as possible. Everybody kind of knows that, to sell you ads, to push all these other things, to get an emotional reaction out of you, to then keep you on there. And I'm seeing, peers in the health space that are doing really well, that their certain message and demographic and the things that they're saying are working, and they're doing this way. And I'm like, oh, this is funny. I think it's like kind of like doing research to a degree to then help me with my message. But really what it ends up doing, it ends up watering down what I'm doing into a demographic of people that likely aren't listening, likely don't care. And even more so, like, are not connecting with me at all. So, I do this whole reset, and I think it kind of helped me find my voice again, find the things that help make this business unique, helped kind of revitalize the reasons why we do things. It helps me be able to push and pump a lot of effort into our community that exists online. I mean, we ran 2 programs over the course of the last 75 days. I created like 3 or 4 more, one kicking off here at the end of the year that I'm going to talk about in more detail at the end of this episode. But geez Louise, man, I like have felt so much more myself. I've been going into businesses and talking to business owners about hopping on our podcast and discussing. We went out and bought some furniture for the house, and I met a Olympic pair figure skater who we then interviewed. And if you guys haven't seen that episode, it's going to be episode 80 that came out with the Paralympic skater Stan. And like, how cool is it to be able to kind of lean into those things and do the thing that I like to do, which is connect with people, and then bring them into our community in some way, shape, or form so that we can help others. And that's something that I've really started to value, and something that I think that I really can and continue to do and bring to the table for our clients, for the people that are listening to our stuff, which if you've gotten this far through this episode, I appreciate you. But don't be lazy ass, give us a 5-star review. But and then kind of moving forward. So, what in the last 75 days have I truly, I guess, felt, like, hey, what are some challenges? What are some hacks for those of you that guys are interested in trying it out? One thing is, I think routine was really helpful for me, some structure. Every morning, the very first thing I did was do my progress photo. Oh, I guess this is also important. So for those of you that have one of these, which pretty much everybody does have a phone at this point, smartphone probably, what I did is I took my home screen, which used to have my social media page on it, and I moved it to the very last page along my phone. So it's on page, 3 or whatever on the phone. What that did was it helped break the cycle of me like popping the phone open and then going into Instagram or Facebook or insert whatever social media page that you want. And what I did is I replaced that with the 75 Hard app, which you have to pay $5 a month for. I don't know if it's necessarily worth it if you're able to use the OG calendar made by pen and paper like I could not do. But what it did do is it gave me a checklist of things, a way that I could kind of remember all those things as well, and then go through the entire program. So I once I woke up in the morning, that icon is in the corner where all my social media stuff was. I took my behavior modification knowledge that I know from before and then implemented that directly into this, clicked on that thing, and then immediately I'm taking my progress photo and I'm reading my 10 pages of my book in the morning, which is something that I've been doing for a long time now, and rarely, if ever, truly miss doing. And then I went and trained. Now, for me, living in rainy Florida, and then being in a very wet environment, especially in the summertime here, I didn't necessarily know when the rain was going to come. Most likely it was going to be in the afternoon. So I found for me that getting outside and doing my workout in the morning was the best way for me to continue to make sure that I got that one done. If you're a little bit drowsy or tired and you're going out and training in the morning when it's a little bit cooler, and probably not raining, it's easier to do than when you just got done from work. It's hot as hell outside. Maybe it's raining and then you got to train outside. So I was like almost easier for me to kind of cater that movement, that training session over to that. And then I continued on that path for essentially all 75 days. What are some other things that we did? We traveled a lot during this program. I think I talked about that earlier. So how do you stay on a diet when you travel? That is the golden question for all of my pilots, all of my military members, all the people that go and travel for work. This is where I think the rubber really meets the road, and where a little bit of education, a little bit of planning, and a trip to the grocery store like once a week when you're on the road could be incredibly beneficial. So the way that I usually tackle training, and this is, I woke up, I did those three things, and then I came back to my room. I typically don't like to eat until a couple hours later in the morning. It's just what I found helps my body feel better and perform better. So I'll call like a breakfast, lunch, whatever, maybe around somewhere in the window, and this is totally day dependent, of like 9 to 11 or 12. And what I would do is when I get to wherever I'm going, especially if I have a hotel room, kind of take inventory. Do I have a fridge? Do I not? Do I have a microwave? Do I not? Do I need utensils? Do I have some sort of container? Did I bring one with me? Did I not bring one with me? I always travel with my supplements. Again, shout out to our partners over at First Form, bringing my greens with me. I don't miss that ever. I travel with those with me so I can make my protein coffee in the morning and then let that thing rip. So I finish that. I go to the store then, and then I take all that, I'll call it research or background information about the room that I'm staying in, kind of the amenities I have available, and then I'll go and shop. I usually won't spend more than like $100. I'm getting yogurts, fresh fruits, snack foods, basically things that could hold me through until dinner time. Typically when I'm traveling, I'm with a group. Most of the time that group likes to go out to eat dinner at minimum together. And I like to not say no to those things and be able to say yes. So I plan to not have anything outside of what I can control before dinner time. You can always control what you eat for dinner. Do you order dessert? Do you not? Again, sticking with the diet that we set forward of no sweets or kind of like big processed foods, chocolates, things like that is kind of what we went with again in this iteration. But I could control everything up until that point. And then when I went out to dinner, I was able to control like, hey, I'm going to order, lean meat and a veggie, or I'm going to have this and this. And what that did is it helped kind of lean into, I'm not going to pigeonhole myself. And then if everyone's going out to a candy store, I'm probably not going to go to the candy store. I'll stand outside, or I'll skip that, or whatever that thing becomes. Or sometimes if people are going to go eat something that's slightly more unhealthy, but I want to be involved, I would eat before I left instead. So, taking inventory, go buy those things that you like. Peppers and hummus is something that I'll buy. I'll buy rice cakes and, cottage cheese and granola and, yogurt parfait stuff and fresh fruit, and all that really, really helps me stay kind of dialed in while I'm, on the road, especially for morning and mid-afternoon snacks, and then being able to go out for dinners, which is what I found kind of worked for me. And then typically before dinner or right after, I would do my second workout. And again, this challenge is mental toughness. It's not necessarily physical strength or physical stamina. So it's not like you have to kill yourself with 2 workouts in a day. I would say that that's probably going to be relatively unhealthy for you. If you do that, it'll probably burn you out unless you're a high level athlete who's recovering like crazy and all you're doing is working out. So how do you balance those things? Well, you can do a 45-minute walk for one of your workouts, or a mobility session for one of your workouts, or make a walk and a mobility session both of your workouts in the day. And there's times where I did that as well in this challenge. And the biggest thing is realizing the goal of this challenge was not how hard can I push myself in the gym. It was how to make time. How do I carve out those 45 minutes twice a day? And they can't be back to back either. I think I left that part out. Like the 2 45-minute workouts can't be like, oh, I work out for 45 minutes, I take 2 minutes off, and then I go do another 45 minutes. The whole point is that you have to get yourself ready, do the thing, budget the time. Typically like morning and evening is how I did it, or I did way early morning and early afternoon, which is the way that I kind of made it work for me. So, the biggest thing that I think was a challenge and something that I think I needed to make sure I identified is like, I still needed to balance, my work, my family, friends, just general health and wellness. And then really make sure that like, hey, I had to set some boundaries and goals in that too. So, I obviously told Chelsea that I was going to be doing this again. Not sure if she was super stoked about that or not, but in doing that, what I was able to do is I was able to be like, hey, let's go on a walk together. She just knew that when we were going to go for a walk, it was going to be a 45-minute walk so we could complete that. Or we'd walk around together with the dog. And then when I got back to the house, I'd drop her off and I'd be like, hey, I'm walking for another 5 minutes before I come back home. So I hit my 45-minute time period outside. Great. That's one way to get that done. Spending time together. Maybe you're going out and working out by playing sports together, going out and like playing volleyball, or going to, kick a soccer ball around. Like, how are you able to bond? I'm able to play basketball and count that as a workout. So how to balance those things. And sometimes it's actually the best, in my opinion, form of health, right? It's like when movement becomes the outcome and not the goal. Like you start to just do it because you enjoy it and because you get lost in what I'll call your flow state. And you're able to kind of continue through that and find a lot of success there. So, I found that was the way to do it, in my opinion, the most sustainable way. And some of those habits I'll say will stick. I mean, I read in the morning and evening pretty much every day. I write at least once a day, sometimes twice a day in a journal. I, train for the most part. I'm doing something active, mobility, stretching, walking, even on a rest day, playing sports with friends. I do not sit very well, for those of you that know me. And I've just found like that is stuff that really, really works well for me. I don't watch a ton of TV, for better, for worse. And it just helps me to continue doing stuff that I love over and over again with people that I like spending time with. So would I recommend this whole thing to somebody? I'd say for sure. There's a lot of power in figuring out like, hey, it's essentially a time audit meets a workout and mental health challenge. And then it proves to you that you can do hard things once again. If you forgot, then you will be remembered if you're able to pass and do this thing over. I'm glad I quote unquote got the monkey off my back and gave me some time to where I can get going our next big end of the year challenge, which I'm able to finally promote on here, as well as promote on our social media pages, because I'm back on there, which is the 50 Days of Fitness. Before I get into talking about that challenge, what am I going to do on social media moving forward? I guess I kind of didn't really address that. And I think it's helpful for me to kind of vocalize what I'm going to do and the boundaries I'm going to set. Social media for me is going to continue to be a tool. It's going to be a tool to bring people to the community who resonate with our message. I'm going to make sure that I do not allow it to become a tool that dominates me and uses me in the way that I think it was prior to me taking the break. So what does that look like? I think it's probably going to be more stringent, we'll call like times where I pop on there and it's scripted or scheduled in my day. I'm going to go on for 20 minutes and I'm going to do a post on all the platforms, and then I'm getting off, and I'm going to do that maybe twice a week, or whatever the kind of cadence comes out to, is the way it's going to be. So if you guys are sending us messages on a social media page, on Instagram, on TikTok or YouTube, or leaving comments and stuff, don't be upset if we don't respond to you right away. It will come. And if you want to get a hold of us even quicker, I would say go to our website. That is what I've been using primarily over the past, couple months to continue to help reach out to people and help, give somebody some sort of feedback and be able to, provide a tool, a resource, or something other than that to kind of help your health in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so what is 50 Days of Fitness? 50 Days of Fitness is going to be a really, really, interesting way to reel in the end of the year. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to make it an annual challenge that's going to kick off at the end of the year every single year. I know that not everybody is going to be able to commit to something like 75 hard, which is part of the reason why I wanted to make sure that I created something that was, one, more inclusive, two, still dialed in behavioral modification and habit forming, and three, it gave you a bit of flexibility that you get to build into your own program, which basically helps you, roll into the next year. For us, the year 2026 currently, like with some momentum, instead of feeling like you just finished the holiday season and you got hit by a Mack truck and then the first comes and you're like, I need to go to the gym. And then you're one of those people that in the first like 2 or 3 weeks, you're not going back. You're getting robbed by LA Fitness or Planet Fitness or whatever, Crunch or whatever, like local mom and pop gym you decided to join because you kind of felt bad or you were guilty about the way that you had spent your holiday season. So this is about how do we get structure without burnout? How do we enable us to continue to do some form of habit tracking to move the needle with our nutrition, and then doing it with a group of people that are doing it with you. I'm pretty stoked to have an awesome community that's in our app. For those of you that don't know, we've got an app that exists, and you guys can have access to it for $20 a month for our, we'll call low ticket coaching offer, which essentially is like, hey, you get access to our communities. You can message me back and forth anytime that you want. And I respond to every single message in there. You've got programs, on-demand workouts, nutrition tracking tools. It's like MyFitnessPal on steroids with our app that's really well done. And then we've got I'll call our high ticket coaching offer, which this is more of a private community. And this is something where not only do you need to be motivated to make a real change, these are people that are way more serious about their health and wellness. They are not looking to just, I'll call, set it and forget it. They don't want a program written by, Joe Schmo or whomever else. They want like, hey, I'm traveling for these couple weeks. I have access to this equipment, or, hey, I'm working on this nutritional tool. How can I help? And I'm having, guided conversations with them. We're programming, we're giving candid feedback, and we're moving forward. And those people are making incredible progress, and it's super exciting to watch that. But that's a group that I require some form of an interview both ways so that it looks like we're a good fit for one another. I'm a good fit to be your coach. You're a good fit to be my client, as well as in our community, which I think, I am happy that we can say no to people at this point. It's really nice to say like, hey, I don't think that would be a good fit for you, and then recommend others. But the benefit is that that something that we guard sacred and hold sacred, and those people are going to be the ones that are going through this challenge with us within our app too for the 50 Days of Fitness. So without further ado, what is it? You've been talking about it for the last, 5 or 10 minutes. And I guess we should kind of dive into what that is. So 50 Days of Fitness is going to be, again, a tool that is going to be utilized for people that don't want to end the holiday season and feel guilty rolling into 2026. It's going to build you structure without burnout. And the way we're doing it is we're doing 4 structured workouts per week that are going to encompass mobility training, strength and conditioning, cardiovascular endurance, all those kinds of things that are going to be super important for you, as well as focused habits every single week. So we'll do things that focus on hydration, your sleep environment, prioritization of, reflecting and celebrating wins that you have, and all these things that are going to come into the program. And the other thing that you're going to have is you're going to have days where you're able to build in, I'll call it like a fuck it day, for lack of a better term. Sorry, Mom. But what these are is these are days where you can be like, you know what? I have a Christmas party for work, and that's happening on, December the 20th. And every year in the Christmas party, December 20th, I want to make sure that I'm able to enjoy some time with my coworkers. I don't want to stick to a diet. I don't want to think about a training session. I don't want to do whatever. And that's fine. The holiday season is important for that. Recharging your batteries. I know it can be incredibly stressful for people, but if we build way too much structure in a program like this, and you're going to feel like you can't take that time to be able to enjoy that with other people that you love spending time with. So what do? We build you 5 fuck it days. And it's so that you can enjoy those days. You can pick, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, whatever you kind of want to choose. And those are 5 days where you get to kind of totally check out of the program. You get to say, hey, these are the days I'm not going to train. I'm not going to, worry about my habits. I'm not going to worry about all these other things. And it's going to allow you to kind of really dig into your family, your friends, your community, and all those things that you like. But the big difference is what I want you to do in that program is I want you to identify what those days are going to be before you begin, or right at the beginning of the program. Because if you do that, you're able to kind of build your plan, stick to your plan, and then you're building in those guardrails so that you can have an effective plan throughout the rest of the holiday season. It doesn't work if you're somebody who decides like, oh, I'm just going to decide one day that I'm going to have a day off, or that, hey, you wait until, I don't know, December the 26th, and you're like, oh, now I'm just going to use all of my days. And that's not something that you pre-plan. That is not the point of what we're giving these 5 flex days. That's probably a better term, into the program for. So your 5 flex days are going to be used so that you can allow yourself to have that freedom, have that fun with friends and family, be yourself, all those things, but then also come back and return to some of that structured programming so that you're training, you're getting those things in, and you're able to continue to make progress rolling into the next year. So, what are some things, who is this for? Who's the program for? It's for busy adults. All the programs are going to be something that is incredibly simple for you to do. You're going to be able to get all the workouts in under 40 or so minutes. And it's going to be something that's pilot friendly. It's military member friendly that are traveling for the holidays, because all you need is a set of dumbbells to be able to make it happen. And what it is starting on November the 12th, is our day where 50 days from November the 12th is going to be New Year's Eve. It's going to finish then. And then you guys again get to roll into 2026 feeling like $1 million. You're not going to start and get that pit in your stomach when the New Year's resolutions start to come out, and then you're like, man, what am I going to do? And you get into the gym for the first time, and you're kind of anxious and have that kind of holiday guilt that's kind of built up in you. So if you miss a workout, or you have an off day, or whatever the thing becomes, a nice part about this thing is something that I talked about before, is this community is great about picking each other up and making it happen. Making sure that you feel the support. You've got access to me again throughout the whole program, which has been super fun to be able to continue to help deliver, a stellar product, which I think all these training sessions are going to be very challenging for you, especially, if you're somebody who was a former athlete, or somebody who, enjoys training in general. I think you're going to love it. if you're somebody who's new to it, all the patterns are simple enough that you can pick it up, and then you most likely won't even need to watch me talk about all the movement patterns as we go through it. So how do you sign up and get started? We are offering a little bit of a we'll call prequel sign up. We'll call a early access for those of you that are interested. We're building out a web page here, and I'll leave it here in the show notes for you guys if you're interested in doing the challenge here for 50 days of fitness for 2025. And we're really excited to say, like, if you are to finish it, let me see if I got one here. Hanging around. Well, I don't know where they are at right now, but we've got a flight suit patch that we're going to be sending out to everybody who finishes the program, and that is like proven tracking within your metrics. It's a little logo. Our logo here, the triangles, blue, looks really clean, and you can stick that to a backpack or whatever your thing comes. Kind of comes with Velcro. It'll be super sweet. So that's what we're giving away for that. All of you guys that are new, you'll be able to check out the app. The early access is going to be unlocked for this program. I'm really excited to let it fly and continue to help deliver the most optimal training, nutrition, recovery protocols that I can. Just so you guys know too, I'm finishing up my sleep, stress, and recovery course here with Precision Nutrition in the next couple of weeks, which is exciting too, to continue to help you guys that are looking for better ways to optimize your sleep and rest. And I'm just going to continue to be a lifelong learning coach. I don't have all the answers. I definitely don't claim to. So that's why I've got people that come on this show and help make me smarter, coaches myself, and then and ways to continue to help you guys look, move, and feel your best. So that's all I got for you guys on a Friday. Or whenever you guys decide to listen to this. Thanks again for listening. If you guys are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you are, give us a like, subscribe if you can, and then leave us a 5-star review. Google, whatever it is, we take it. It's really helpful for us. It helps us grow. So give us a 5-star review. Again, we really appreciate it. It helps us build our message, build the brand, and then continue to help people all over the world to continue to look and move and feel their best. So remember, you don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.